Hello, good night, and welcome to another presentation from us at Budget Consultants Limited. So tonight I will be going over this question that you see on the display, which is it practical to pay a contractor 50% of the entire cost of a project before the project starts? Now, this is one of those questions that has been bouncing around in the social media space, and different opinions related to this matter will come from customers, different from people who practice construction. So our presentation is not to just pick a side. We are just going to warm some arguments, and then eventually we can take a few calls. When this question was put together, the context was kind of clear on the basis that it says entire cost of your project. Now, that those seemingly is sounding straightforward in the technical world, that can be interpreted in several different ways. So what we are going to do first is we are going to try and establish some base arguments by setting out what we mean and how things could be causing confusion among several different parties. Everything in construction are not coincidental. So not because a statement is made, it means that every other thing related to that statement is automatically true. So one of the first things we always advise people is to ensure that they get the necessary information or their claims correct, so thereby they can understand what they are being told is practical. Now, in terms of cost, there are different aspects of work when it comes down to construction project. We have to understand that when a person says a project, it doesn't mean universally every different project that's going to be out there, because different tradespeople do different projects and different customers have different projects that they want to get done. So everything cannot be covered with a broad brush. So work in this scenario can be in three different setups as seen on the display. You have fractional work, and that kind of work is where you have like a person doing a trade or, just a small piece of an entire project. You have phase work, which is when you combine several different trades work together to carry a building up to a particular point. And then you have a comprehensive work, which that's going to include all of the trades and all of the phases put together to arrive at the total project really requires. So before one disagrees or agrees to this statement, they have to work out what kind of work they are actually talking about. When it comes on to different work, what we normally do is make recommendation based on the differences that exist. So if it is that it's a fractional work, our recommendation will be one way. If it's a phased work, our recommendation will be another way. And if it's an entire project, which is a comprehensive work, then that will give us a different context to use in our recommendation. So all three do not get the same recommendation under no condition, because the consideration is different. So the line is open. Anybody with a question, you can either send a question through the chat section, or you can click the icon at the lower left-hand corner. Oh, see that me I get a guess. Hello, good night, sir.
Oh, go on.
I'm there. So may I go over this question that we see on the display here?
I see today.
So the statement is it practical to pay a contractor 50% of the entire cost of your project before the project starts?
Me that say it can be yes and no, but it depends on the scope of work. If it's a small job, we are gonna take a few days, not wrong for take 50%. But if it's a large job, so it depends on the scope of work. I'll come to the agreement with the client and tradesman / contractor.
So you are saying basically in a situation 1 or 2, it would be possible.
Yeah.
But in a situation 3, you would not recommend it.
No.
That's kind of one of the situations that I see that is kind of confusing to a lot of people in this space, is that some people do fractional work, and when them hear 50%, they are right to say that. But it is related to the fractional work or maybe the phase of the work that they are going to do. But they think it should include a comprehensive job also.
No. Me not believe so. Realize some of them don't understand what them a talk about too. If you really ask them about certain things, them last in terms of payment with clients and stuff like that. You have bad client, you have good client, you have bad contractor, you have good contractor. See, in everything you have good and bad. So it all come down to the scope of work, just as how you list it out. And me know for some person that say, yo, me not pay 50%, but but we real know, you pay a man for lay, say 100 black. And the man say, yo, 10,000 I pay lay 100 black. Before me start, give me 5,000. You gotta say you not give him 5,000, you have to wait till him done work, then you pay him. Not gonna make next sense.
What has happened is that the man them have a talking point, but they not really think about. Them just a hold the talking point because it sound good. And because they don't think about it, they instead help mislead others to think some things when I really line up with no reality. You know, my biggest question with me is me always ask, if you get 50% of the entire work, what would the 50% of the entire work consist of?
How far that bring it. But look on a scenario where, especially government contracts, enough of these big contracts are about $40-50 million. Enough of it, them not gonna give a local contractor like myself or a local man coming up. Them contract there, based on them a look and say, yo, you know $40 million. You know have the pulling power them a look for in terms of them want the project reach the distance before they even start get dollar out of money.
Yeah, they will give you mobilization, but you have to give them one certificate, but performance bond, basically.
Yeah, that means you have to have some money.
That's why I can't understand it, because big contractor, we had a big $100 million, $200 million project, and not getting 50% regardless of them providing even bonds.
Yeah, not get so much.
So you see, this is my problem with the social space and the construction man them, is that them do this generalized terminology. And them just think say everything just sit in a one thing. And then thereby them can say, all right, from then hear that, then just jump on it and say, yeah man, this is good, this makes sense. But there's no understanding amongst them as to what them are talking about and how it really and truly makes sense. Because in a cases out there, it cannot make no sense at all.
But you see the thing though, budget. When I listen to some of my man can justify why they want a 50%, you know. And we can disagree or agree, an opinion, you can't argue opinion. We can argue facts. So if a man can justify why he want 50%, go on. If a client I go give 50%, that's fine with you and the client. But then now the context we speak, you know, sometimes it take out a context and then man start add things and run with it. Enough of that me see man do. I want to make it look construction thing look like proper show thing still.
If you cannot say you know where 50% of the money in the project is really going, or where the project reach at 50%, if you can't confirm that, why can you, will you think it makes sense to make a claim for 50% of the money? Indirectly as a payment, and we work out it later which system will go so. Think about it, it sound good, you know. Imagine you are going to do a project for somebody for $10 million and somebody give you $5 million. The idea sound good. But when you really think about it, a man not dipping in them pocket and give you $5 million. And you can't even get find clearly where the money are going to go.
Yeah, but I say if in a scenario where the client is willing to pay $5 million, if a contractor can justify, oh, he must spend $5 million, you don't think so that makes sense?
It sounds good on paper. But a man will have liquid like that, now paying running with the money.
You see, the problem when me that say, you know, that where the $5 million concern. You can't get in trouble with it because now you have $5 million for play with basically. You have material for buy and you have man for pay. One mistake and you mash up some money, you got a part of money we're not supposed to go in there. Not about we not talk about us the Gallivant are spending man money, not about upon the work itself. Because now you have to balance out the whole project and one mistake on your books or one mistake you go buy too much of one thing and you go delivery, you go buy, say for instance you go lay 1,000 block, you go buy 300 block when you done book it, say you buy 1,000 for one delivery. One delivery money you start by little. You got in a problem. Either you go take less, no, or you can't go back to the client again and say, boy, I'm gonna reach half a project you know. I'm gonna spend $5 million. That not gonna make no sense.
A lot of the things them where is being said on the social space about construction is going to put a lot of people in construction in worse situations than better situations. You have to remember that at the end of the day, a customer you deal with, you know. And when you do business with people, you want the thing to be practical for them too. So that's why I said the statement is going to make the situation worse because a man go see, what if a construction project a pop up? And then them are going to say, but why we not get none of them? And they not going to understand, say, it's really just the foolishness you want to get for consumed there is causing you to believe that you can behave a certain way. And it does turn out to be backfiring on you and you don't know. You know much time people start project and get 15% and mash up the money.
Yeah, man.
10% mash up the money. And we're not talking about no major milestones, some simple milestone. So if you have a country where you have a track record of a lot of people not being able to deliver at the cost that they state, why would it make sense to say to the customer, say, listen, it makes sense? I'm not going to hold on no longer still. I'm going to look at missing no more. I'm going to send out some more requests.
I'm listening, man.
Alright, cool. We chat some more. Alright, so question is it practical to pay a contractor 50% of the entire cost of your project? I use the term practical. I'm not using the term wise, good or bad. I'm just asking if it's practical. Practical meaning, does it make sense if you were to put it on a scale that these two things balance out? The customer's interest and the contractor's interest. So what I am going to do is I'm going to be taking a second caller. Hello, good night. Welcome to our show.
Yes, good night. Yes, about 50% for the contract or the building. No, all right. For my behalf, I want to take the 50% to before I start the structure. I will take either 40
Well,
or 30%.
hold on a second. You're a person that does construction.
Yes. All right. I said my behalf, I want to take the 50% at the first before I start a project. I would prefer take 30 and then when you reach the half, like I'd make it have like a 3 payment. That you have some client now go really trust a person like that to get them 50% of the money from first.
Alright, so when you say a project, your construction projects are from the preliminary stage to the point where you basically can move in.
No, I do project to hand over the key.
I'm going to ask you a second situation. If a person do a fractional work, let us say they are going to build some blocks, 1,000 blocks, and they ask for a deposit of 50%, would you say that is plausible?
Yes, in our case.
So basically,
Yes.
you are agreeing that basically there is a yes and no for the same question.
A person, some, not all still. There are some person not gonna give you the 50% up forward before you even start the job. But a person just first out there still now. But from my behalf, it's not everyone will pay 50% up front before you start the project. Me that take it like in a 3 payment. Like me that take 30% first, and then when we reach in a middle part at the building, take the next percent, and then when it finish now, we get the final percent.
I hope you're one of them when I see a construction bridge and they can try to clarify that to them. Say, oh, this thing ain't really good away they wanna attack, you know.
Sometimes that he'll end up leading from get some job all too. Them all say them problem said I looking at themselves and say why that person want 50% up forward and then never start the project. And again, you have some client them been through a situation like that already, so that's why they now really want to put up so much money.
You know that if you're getting funding from like the bank, they are not gonna allow you to get a deposit at 50% though.
No, they never leave it.
So basically what the man them do is set up themselves if they get no work, you know, and don't even know it.
Exactly.
And they might
But
set up others will not get no work either because they are gonna hold this position, not understanding. Say, listen, yeah, mix up fractional work and entire project.
and can be what happens sometimes now if them do get if them do get the 50% first before them start, sometimes the building even finish half most finish and the money just go on. Them not gonna maintain the money if you know say here if it start and reach to that point there, that's then can get the people them can get the house for do the project for done. That's then can get the other piece of money. That me have 2 billion right now doing and I take me have to take it over from a different person because them charge a person extra money and when them, the person and it over give them the money, then still no the structure never go halfway and then go with the people their money.
There's one particular kind of client you're gonna get with that kind of request, you know.
That
And
is
that's
true.
not gonna be many times a very clean client where you can
No.
really depend upon in the long term to continuously do work. At any time then client they can get pick up and you know the work does stop.
Yes.
Like if you never have in a year on $10 million cash available and somebody put 10 million in there, you are say you're so good at managing money where you never have before that the customer must just slap the hair and give it to you. How would it make sense for the customer give you money where you never have for yourself before?
Yeah, you have a point. That is true. Then enough person I get.
I think a man to put themselves in a customer shoes and think about what their statements are. You know the amount of projects start and people don't have 50% of the project money.
That is true.
And by the time if you reach 50% the people and get more money and just continue the project through. So if the customer don't have 50% or have only the 50%, you have to then hand it over to you. But you yourself don't have the equivalent of that 50% can show say you are used to deal with that kind of money. Like make it make sense. But anyway, I'm gonna take on one second guess.
Yeah, man.
Cameron, what go on?
Damn, man. Me just like catch on the statement we say in our last, you know. And me kind of agree with you, like a client, most of the time will never have a 50% there, you know.
They may have a piece of the money, you know, but then I have
Yeah,
50%.
can't be 50. I also value 17, $20 million. What am I get off of that?
But you're the part I when me I try to understand. We just say last part, not to me say it again. You not have $10 million can show in your thing. You not have no proof say you ever managed $10 million before.
Exactly.
But you are saying to me, give me $10 million.
Exactly. And suppose something got happen and you go use the money, how me get it back?
That's why earlier, I don't know how long you come in the stream. That's why earlier, what I was saying to the people them is this. There are different projects, you know. You have a fractional work. If you are going to do a $200,000 worth of black work and you ask me for 100,000, it's much different from you are going to do $20 million work and ask me for 10 million.
Correct.
So I can lose 100,000, but me not gamble with 10 million.
You're mad, man. Can't go to that none at all. Can't do that.
So basically, me basically gonna time on a foot then. So when a customer pop up, me just go lose the customer. And then me I go buy, so me not get no work.
And I want to say one bill did catch me with sitting like that too, you know. Like me pay a man a money, he put in a staircase. Now how long a staircase can go in. You know me catch him if put him back his staircase. He mean just another outstanding work and me hold on back on the money for his staircase. I say his staircase end up going in. Cause him get the money for it, so it's like that the work they done. Me can't, if me go do it one next time, it's like it I do for free. So all them something come into play.
And that is a fractional work it does mention.
Fractional work. So imagine a man have me 10 million sit down in our account. And me no hear from them 2 days.
I've got other prescription thing for the bill, you know?
Yes,
Some
man.
kind of prescription now if you say in case me not hear from this person. You go over there to go take the medication there, you know? Keep myself sane.
And then when you look upon it, you know, like them small contractor, like when me that's it on TikTok versus established company, right? We that take a chance with the established company because me know me can go sue them. Them in theory supposed to have some asset. Me can get back my money, but them small builder contractor me say pan say the media. Me nah go trust none of them with my money. That a home me stay. We have go find out where you do the work and when the work done me pay you.
What they are missing, you know, is the fractional work. Because the money is less, I can get the money from that. Nothing wrong with that. That's very acceptable. A little bit of money, but big money?
You're mad.
Next year, see man buy a Mercedes Benz. See contractor coming a new Benz from the side, you know?
Yeah.
So I go on camera and stay, you don't know, me go and check. 2 weeks later, you say, yo, the money not right, you know, you can't do it. That's why there's also a statement on the app where the man must say, where you going to spend the money to a BQ for when the contractor can give an estimate. And I also I go an estimate. And I said, no, but I know the same thing. The reason why you get a BQ is really that you really need to know ahead of time, have an idea as to where the costume supposed to trend. So
Right.
you're not supposed to go in it blind because when the contractor say $5 for go right there, so you need something to cross check it.
Right.
In basically I said just trust me and just pay me.
So you probably not even need to have the dollar value them what the thing cost, but you need to understand the measurement them to the T. So when you come on to say for instance, you column them, you have 100 feet a column. A contractor man can come to you and say, you know, say I want 10 feet a column, a box and cast. He can come to you and say, yo, a 450 feet a lintel because you already have them thing there.
You know that contractors in general look at estimates as not something that needs to be accurate though. So what customers need to understand is this. When a contractor say I give an estimate, there's no bearing of accuracy or need for accuracy in the contractor's mind. So when you think say you get something which is properly thought out, what the contractor basically is saying do is that him basically I guess something.
Yeah, ballpark figure like.
The truth is that don't really mean nothing.
Right.
It's like he might tell you directly, say, listen, what me I tell you so, not really true still, you know.
Yeah.
But it's a rough idea.
Yeah.
Now, if you have a fixed budget, that rough idea is not enough justification for you go forward. Because as you can see here, a rough construction estimate uses square feet, historic unit cost, and a margin of error of plus 30 to 50%. So it can be 50% inaccurate. And a man can rightfully say it was an estimate.
And when Mr. really and truly still not, them not really have the capacity to really work out the estimate gear, you know, if them actually have work to do. Them not really have the capacity to do it, man, because it's a thing will take time.
If you did have a margin of error of 30 to 50%, you don't need to be accurate. That's like saying half of what me I tell you could have true, you know, half of it a lie, you know.
That's true, man. So we have to.
Customers don't understand say when them ask a contractor for the word estimate, they don't understand say that's how the contractor look at it. It can be as wrong as 30 to 50%.
Yeah.
So me tell her 15 million and it can be actually $30 million.
Right.
But me not wrong because my
Right.
margin of error is 50.
50.
50%.
So when you as a client come in now and that when give you feel good.
Yes, because you feel say I get a deal, but you don't know say. You don't know
Right.
say. If you didn't get all the $30 million yourself or didn't have it, you start spending to other things because you believe say you get a right figure when it's a
Yes,
wrong figure. What is seen as 50% of a construction project? As in, how far does the work go? What does it consider? Because if you can't tell me where 50% in a project is, how can you tell me something if you give 50% upfront?
Right.
Would that make sense? What if 50%
Cause
of yours are before you start rough cars and render? And me think say when me I go start putting style and stuff.
I they say 50% kind of if it's truth, when you start finish. All the rough
Yeah,
work.
but that man I got tell us say fee him 50% that when him put up the rough building. I just see a customer in the space there. Him have cash. And him not do that. And the more cash a man have, at the least likelihood they will have him to pay 50%.
Mm-hmm.
You see the little project them, a man might make things pass. But you see when a project start reach certain kind of money, attract a certain kind of customer, you dare not go into that. Because them are going to tell the plain say, them not see no reason for do that. And if them are go to the bank now give 50%. Any financial institution now give 50%.
I give you 50.
start.
Them are gain stages. You do piece, then disperse funds, assessment, disperse funds. The next piece, disperse funds. That's how them work. So I guess it probably them did a look upon it and I say, like say, me have one like a wall for run then. One foundation for dig then. So probably them in that look upon it in a stage or something, but it can't be for your entire project. Because most man who build don't have that money to complete the entire project. And probably a bill out time pocket, for a span of 5 years. How am I come by 50%?
Imagine 10 man take the narrative and go to 10 customers, 10 customers say, no, we are use somebody else. Them are going to say, boy, but why them not get no work? When are them basically broke their foot?
They own a foot.
Anyway, me not go hold them much longer still. Me go reply to some comments. So maybe we talk next time.
Yeah, man, no say a word.
Customers are willing to give fractional payment, but customers are not willing to give 50% upfront. Unless there's a customer in the chat here that can validate it, or if there are contractors or builders who are getting 50%, they can also come in and let us know. Maybe we don't really know what I want. I am not with the premise. Let me know if there is people who are with it and can explain it a little better and confirm. And I'm willing to change my position if it's a practical statement that I can look at, and I can then also advise customers as to how it might be beneficial for them to or to not pay a certain amount of money. So I am going to get my third caller here.
Yes, nine. In listening the conversation, right? Because I basically come in and get a piece of the conversation about the 50%. I can say it's practical and workable in a sense where if the client basically agree to it, because basically you as a contractor would have to go and stipulate each payment and outline what the payment is for. So in that breakdown now, you basically will show where the 50% will basically carry the work too. So in basically breaking down that to the client, then the client now will basically would either agree or disagree if he or she can basically upfront that money. So it's workable in a sense where contractors are doing it and so on. I basically adopt the principle of stage or in fraction payment, where each stage I basically ask for 50% of that stage money, so to speak.
All
And
right.
then now on comments of finishing, the other 50 would be allotted.
All right. So let us have this clear then. What you're stating fall under one or two of three categories, right?
Mhm.
You have fractional work, which is like
Right,
a trade work. Man just going to do some black work, man just going to do some farm work, carpentry, or look at steel work. That's fractional work. If a man do fractional work, you're stating that 50% is workable.
right,
If you had a phase work, which is, you have different milestone, maybe up to casting the foundation, up to reach up to the building, whatever, you're
right,
also saying that 50% can work for the stage also.
right.
So, in the other situation, where it's a comprehensive project from the preliminary down to handing over the key, in that case, what are you saying about the 50%?
All right, so the 50% now will come with a breakdown to where that 50% will basically carry the building to. Whether it would be at a stage where it can complete the roof, however no the finishing will be on a later date or with out of the range of the 50%. So that breakdown would basically show the client where he or she is at or will be in that stage.
All right, so if we are talking about generalities, right? We have to consider what's best for a sector, right? Or an interaction between customers and contractor. Would you say it is practical in a general case for the average customer to accept such a premise?
Well, the general customer and them, I would say it's based on I would I would say some in my case, some do that, however some cannot afford it. So, I would say it's a 50-50% there,
All right, so let me ask you a different question now. Do you believe that 50% of the people who practice construction work are honest enough to access
No,
50%
no,
of the.
no, you don't have to go no further there. No, I don't believe
So,
that.
so basically, the
Because I
premise
see it
can
with
make
my eye.
sense then. Because if you're
Well,
asking 50% of the customer them to say, or you're saying that you would think it's practical for a lot of them,
yes, it's practical.
what you're going to have to back up that is a lot of established contractors with a reputation who can actually really show that they can be trusted with this kind of money.
Yes, and also I really want to preach this out there where the contractual agreement is crucial.
That is true. But let me tell you one next
Yeah.
thing here. But say courthouse in Jamaica take a lot of time.
That's true. Then that's why we basically would have tried to be on the safe side when it
No,
come
no,
on to that.
I'm just talking about the general sector and the arrangements going at that order.
Yeah.
So the average court's proceedings take a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would it be safe for the customer to know that they give John Tam $10 million and John Tam mash up the $10 million and now them have to go through legal means which I if you get back the $10 million, but John Tam don't have $10 million worth of asset for even cause him to pay back such a money. Because remember, John Tam never get $10 million one time. He never earned that for himself before. So it's like you're giving a man an M16, and him get it wrong, the customer gets burned. And the whole sector is going to be looked at in a bad light.
That's true.
So it would be easier and better if say, if it's a comprehensive project, everything from start to handing over the key, it's better to not agree with 50% of that. But if it's a fractional work or a phase work, the fraction of the phase being X is reasonable. 50% of labor or 50% of the whole project. So because you don't really know what them attack, it is very dangerous because it can tell the wrong man if you go tell the customer 50%. And it should be 50% of maybe a phase of the labor, which the
Right.
labor itself is not 50% of the project.
Right.
So that would mean that the fraction is much lower anyway. So
And that's more easier. That's more easy and more appealing to the client.
you know that big contractors, many of them don't even get 50% when they're at the major project though.
Well, I worked with a contractor about 3 years ago, where he basically outlined that it's 20% deposit before starting. So yeah, I totally.
And the customer go pay the money, you know.
Mhm.
So this statement can be unrealistic to the customer. I've been in this sector long enough. I understand that there are customers who don't really pay. They will do the work for them, and whenever you get paid, then disappear upon you and give the excuse. That exists. But you don't fix a problem with another problem, you know. All these customers are not the same. And that man work a certain amount of money and he has spent a lot of time earning it. He's not just going to hand it over without a whole heap of clause and conditions because he might do everything to protect what he have.
Right.
He will go to the more established company, you know, because of the risk involved. But that never means because the place in established, him go against protocols that are established. So for instance, the master builders have a simple, I think them have a contract type document sample. And in that contract sample, it's saying about, I think it said 10 or 15%, something like that.
Mhm.
So if they must say that, you're the big shot customer having lie, you go see that. Then talk to other big contractor and they must say 20%, 15%, all these things. Like I said, people would earn this money legally, they think. Most time they think a lot.
So basically, you're saying that the risk factor is great, so it's not practical in a sense where most clients won't adapt to that paying strategy.
If I was to bet for that 20 million or 15 or 30 or 40 or 50 or $100 million project, I would not
Massive.
bet on the side that the average person who doing kind of project there, I go even consider you. For you say 50 them don't talk to you and gone. Like that. But when me hear SY ever say,
Well, I go and big up on yourself, you know, yeah, I'm in the place, you know, you see me?
so like you're a party man.
Just go now, I'm there, I drink something, we could be test of me one do. The question I know, first of all, my boss, Zane, I could be wrong, you know. When me hear about a contractor, I think a contractor in its truest sense, the man them must have them own money, bro. And they should have their own money to a degree wherein they whatever signing or whatever agreement they have, yeah, they can actually complete a great portion of that project, yeah, and rely upon the bank for the payout upon assessment. There's a system like that, don't it? Wherein the bank could have given them the allowance, where the client and them would have had an agreement with the bank, and based on the project or work being carried out, then they can receive a certain amount of money from the bank. There's a system like that, right?
Yeah man. So there is a system that, you know, yeah, but that's what you call phase payments, right? So that's practical, but in the true sense, when you're doing a project through the bank, you still get a deposit. You always get a starting sum, but
But here's the thing.
the starting sum is never gonna be 50%.
Thank you very. That's what I was about to say. Ain't no bank will give you no damn 50%. So why a lot of them requiring 50% from the client?
What is happening, you see, is there's a big misunderstanding, and this is the problem with TikTok, is that most of the man them talk, but they don't know to to actually make them statement correct, so it end up causing more problems than solution. You know, say in most cases, not all, the more income a person legally earns is the better thinking they are as it relates to how things actually work. If you did a $20 million project and a man asks you for $10 million, I think you'd approach it the same way.
No, I couldn't, because that would the sum would have determined me. If you say so much me I put in a hand one time, but then again, me no know, because what if whatever me I do require that me that not basically and the magnitude of what me I do, the man can sell me that idea, say he require that amount. Like what the brother, sell me that idea, say, oh, my house required that amount up front.
Alright. Say a man walk come here a site and he hears him is a good contractor, man. Him take a taxi come. And him say, yo, a 10 million to start that project, yeah.
No, that no make no sense. That no make no sense. He can't get a penny from me because he take a taxi. What you just explained still, is that it's okay for the man in the suit for rob you.
In some projects, the customer don't care whether or not they can do the work. The customer care whether or not they have a means by which they can get a guarantee say things go wrong, them can come sue you. And if your company look like say have the kind of money where can guarantee the job, they are gonna get the work. They could have $10 or $15 million more expensive than the little John Brown on the corner around there. So they are gonna get the work because what that customer might be interested in is the risk being managed properly in a way where assures them the project or a means by getting back their money from the person.
Sedo family, I actually agree with you because there was another brother bidding for the job, and me never gave me job because I think that they're the reason subconsciously me never give him the job. You see me, bro? In my head, the brother never really have much. You probably would have give him a tradesman work like a job to run some black car, but not
Yes.
a full on manage the money a kind of situation.
But my brethren, I'm not going to linger any longer. That's where I'm going to leave it for tonight. Hope you all have a lovely day. Take care.